Branwen OShea writes stories with stardust and magic that explore our potential to change not just individuals, not just as individuals, but as a species. In addition to penning others, she's a licensed counselor, yoga teacher, sound healer, nature enthusiast, animal rescuer, and proud mom. Go for it, Branwen.
Hi, everyone. So tonight I'm going to be reading from The Calling, and this excerpt is in Rana's point of view. Rana is a 16-year-old star being, or alien, who lives on Earth in a future ice age. Just a little bit of background. Star beings have two physical states, uncrowned and crowned. They're born uncrowned, and near adulthood, they go through a metamorphosis that is sort of like enlightenment, where they become crowned or called crowned ones. And as this excerpt begins, Rana is on a solo journey to master her skills so that she can become crowned. And she has just been chased into an ice cave by an unknown predator.
Branwen, you're a little bit soft. Could you turn yourself up a bit? Thank you.
All right. Okay. The rising gloom made vision difficult, so she rifled through her pack, trusting her fingers to find her fire kit. Dried meat, twine, dagger, finally 2 soaked logs. She yanked one out of the pack and grabbed her flint, firestone, and tinder pouch. The logs were treated by the crowned for the uncrowned in situations like this. If she could only get a good spark, its special soaking would make it catch quickly and remain ablaze all night. She'd be safe. As she smashed the stones together, scratching came from the darkness outside the cavern's mouth. Something was coming closer, maybe a stone's throw away from the entrance now. Kalakanya gave me an equal chance at success as death. I must find it. Her grip relaxed on the flint and her hands glided together in a fluid motion. Sparks appeared. She repeated the movement, keeping her hands close to the tinder that rested within the carved log. The log burst into flame. Scooting backward, she dug through her pack for the gripper, 2 interlocking carved bones that grasped a log like a torch. After scrutinizing the distance between the cave entrance and the burning log, she put the gripper down. The fire's current location would prevent predators from entering her cavern. She glanced at the yawning blackness that made up the back of the cavern. A slight air current brushed her cheek. Where's the air coming from? Her eyes were useless in the darkness, and she wasn't eager to blindly enter the cavern's depth with only her unquestionable shielding abilities and her dagger. She crouched, ready to lunge if necessary. Still holding the dagger, she inhaled deeply to awaken all her senses. She unfurled her awareness and prodded the darkness for a rear wall, but couldn't sense one. Did the cavern curve back out like a ram's horn? That could be a great escape route, or another way in for whatever stalked her. Rana glanced around and pondered her best course of action. The cavern was large enough for her to stand erect, but in the near darkness, the uneven roof was treacherous. The burning log cast everything in flickering yellows and grays. Was it a trick of the light, or did strange lateral lines mark the far wall? She approached the marked wall, careful not to trip on the murky, rutted floor or smash her head on the jagged roof. The lines congregated in series of 4 all over the wall. She traced their depth with her dagger. Horizontal lines, not from melting ice. An icy cold chill ran between her shoulder blades. Claw marks. Oh my oneness, why was I pulled to this cave? Her heart thumped wildly in her chest. She could call a crowned one, but she was supposed to do this alone. From farther back in the darkness came animalistic grunts and whimpers. A vocal timbre that deep required a large body, probably a cave digger. Falling stars, this was beyond her abilities. She needed help. Focusing all her attention inward, she resisted her instinct to fight or flee and called the crowned ones. She'd mastered this in class, but never while in mortal danger. Every time she centered and the energy built up, another growl would make her lose focus. I'm going to die because I can't focus, she thought as she backed closer to the lit log. The crowned ones should have already starbeamed here. She wasn't calling properly. No one had heard her. She was on her own. She knelt, and with trembling hands, she grabbed the extra piece of soaked wood. If she put one log at the back of the cave and kept one in the entrance, then maybe she'd be safe between them until daybreak. Of course, that assumed whatever predator lurked outside lost interest in her by daybreak. 2 fires were her best chance, her only chance. She quickly placed the second piece of wood, filled its opening with tinder, and grabbed her stones. The growling grew closer. At this rate, she'd never get the log lit in time. Her mind raced through possibilities, but they all required skills she lacked and ended with her death. Wait, Furred ones sense energy. In desperation, she expanded her energy to appear larger and hoped her fake size might give the predator pause. In this enlarged energy state, she struck the flint and firestone together. They sparked, but the log remained unlit. Long claws scraped against the floor. She peered up from the flint. The pale light of the first log reflected off 2 eyes. Her body tensed, but she had nowhere to run or hide. She tried to create a shield, but in her panic only managed a brief spark. The furred one snarled. Her heart hammered against her chest as her gaze darted to the small dagger lying between her fate. She abhorred violence. Light the log and neither of us will get hurt, she thought. She continued madly striking the rocks together, but her hands shook too much. Then Balavati's nonstop chattering and Kahali's laughter echoed through her mind, and the world made sense again. Their training mantra flowed through her. Trust, focus, breathe. Everything came into ultra-clear focus, as if time had stopped. The flint seemed to light itself before she noticed her hands moving. The tinder caught fire, lighting the log, and she exhaled slowly, afraid of extinguishing the new flames. Keeping the log aligned between her and the beast's eyes, she snatched the dagger. Could she hurt another being to preserve her own life? She raised her gaze, and the shifting firelight revealed her worst fear, a full-grown, teeth-bared cave digger. Its black lips curled, revealing a muzzle full of dagger-like teeth that reeked of musk and rotten meat. Her log formed a pathetic defense. I'm going to stop there. If you want to know what happens, I'm going to be, for the giveaway, giving away a paperback of The Calling and some swag with it. So, yeah, you can fill that out if you're interested. Thank you.